Hey lovies, this is Michelle here at Life Mantra Tarot. I hope that you guys are all doing great on this Monday, right? It's been a long day, so I actually wasn't sure if today was Monday or not. This Monday evening, or whenever you decide to watch this. But yes, I hope that you guys are all doing well. I haven't checked in about almost 2 weeks, I want to say. So happy to be here right now. It's been a lot of stuff going on, but just trying to, keep on pushing, keep on trucking, right? Um, so with all that said, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope you like what you see here and decide to stick around. A lot of different types of readings on here, whether it's, something a little more spiritually inclined or love readings, what's the tea readings, a little bit of everything. So, childhood readings, like a little bit of everything. So this is a great channel for that purpose, so stick around. Check out other videos as well. And if you've already been rocking with your girl for a while, welcome back and thank you for the continued support. Love you guys. So without further ado, there's no one here just yet. So I'm gonna just bullshit around for a moment with the hopes that somebody pops in. And if not, then it is what it is. But at least I'm on. So even if it reaches just one person, that's all that matters to me. All right. So with that said, as you guys saw in the title, this is a collective reading, and this is also a reading for spiritual guidance when it comes to like spirit guides that come in the form of animals and fairies, if you believe in that kind of thing. Yeah. So I figured that's what I felt connected to today. So I was like, let's do that. So we're gonna start with the Fairy Oracle deck here, which I really love. My girl Allie gave these to me, which I'm very, very thankful for because this is a really nice deck. Very insightful stuff in here. So let's just see what's going on with you guys. And then I have a couple of other decks. One of them is another new deck that I haven't used on the channel yet, and then some other stuff too. So we shall see. Um, all right, spirits. So let's get started. Clear some most accurate messages for the collective, please, and thank you, Spirit. What does the collective need to know at this time for their highest good? Hello, how are you? Hope you're doing well. All right, Spirit. Clear some most accurate. So it's maybe like 3 from here. 3 or 4. A couple more shuffles. All right. All right. Secret doorway. Working with intuition. Second sight opening. Dimensional doorways. Nice. I like that. So this is looking kind of like, some of you guys might be spiritually inclined yourself. You might have some gifts that you're trying to kind of work on building. Maybe you're trying to figure out how to work on those particular gifts. With the number 5 on here too, that represents changes. So there could be some type of changes happening when it comes to trying to figure it all out. I'm also getting kind of like, opening the doorway to spirit, understanding the importance of being, in tune with your spirituality. Whatever that looks like for you, whether you go to church or, um, whether you're more on the, like I said, the more spiritual side, whatever the case, is going to look different for everybody. So take the messages as they resonate and leave the rest behind. Um, let's see. What else does the collective need to know at this time for their highest good? Clearest and most accurate messages, please and thank you. Thank you. What we got? Dark moon, maturation, growing up, introspection, know thyself. So this is giving me like, definitely doing like that deep inner work, shadow work I'm getting. And it's ironic because I almost took out the shadow work deck that I have. I have more than one shadow work deck, but I almost grabbed them and I changed my mind. But yeah, doing, like I said before, doing like a lot of deep inner work, getting a lot of insight about oneself at this time. Stardust, permanent. Yeah, see, you guys have you guys have gifts yourselves, a lot of you. It says stardust, premonition, galactic communication, endings and beginnings. Interesting. Tell us more. So you guys are really like learning a lot about yourselves at this time. I like that. We have fairy tales, letting go, detachment, and moving on. So you moved on from something that no longer serves you, and that could be one of the things that was like a catalyst for you to move into a new direction when it comes to this part of your growth and your journey. For some of you, it could have been like a romantic relationship. Others of you, it's just things that no longer serve you, like whether it's your own, ways of thinking and attitudes towards things, or your behaviors. Bottom of the deck, you have the secret path, an irresistible pull down a distinct path, ley lines, and mystical, mystical traditions. Interesting. I like that. Yeah, you've been feeling, drawn and guided to, work on this part of your journey. And it's like understanding the fact that nothing has been just coincidental. Confirmation. None of this was coincidental. This was all meant to happen the way that's been happening. I know it's such a cliche, when they say things like, "Oh, everything happens for a reason," but I do feel that there's some truth to that. I feel because I do divination, but I am also I do believe in God, and I do feel that God puts us in different, situations and things like that for us to grow. So sometimes, in the moments, when we're going through some stuff, we might not always understand what the purpose of it is, which is, that's the hard part, right? Trying to figure out what all this means, but definitely feeling guided right into the right direction. Yes, you have secret doorway again, working with intuition, second sight opening, dimensional doorways. So you guys are definitely working towards, this greater version of yourselves. There's a reason why I felt guided to do this particular reading tonight, because I could have did a love reading or some bullshit like that. But I was like, I don't know, I feel more inclined to, I let spirit kind of guide me when it came to picking out the decks. And, I felt like this was a time to really look into like wisdom about the most inner self. Um, so that's why I felt guided to read about, and it looks like I feel like this is going to be a good one. We have the gift, a present, an offer, nurturance, growth, and potential. So there's something that's going to help you, that's going to be coming through towards you, that's going to allow for this growth to happen. And I'm getting a couple of messages here. All right, so for some of you, I'm getting something like along the lines of like God's rejection was God's protection. So it's like something didn't happen the way that maybe you wanted it to, and that happened in a way to help you prepare for something else, the bigger gift that is supposed to be coming towards you. I'm getting something like that. Cry for nature on the bottom. Yeah, mourning for something sacred which seems lost. Yeah, you guys might have been feeling kind of lost lately and just kind of trying to figure it all out. Like, what the fuck does this all mean? And why do I feel so confused? I'm definitely getting a sense of like conflict within self, trying to figure it all out. What does this shit mean? And it's confusing. And the thing is, again, you're being guided and led in the right direction. It's just a matter of actually paying attention to where you're being guided and allowing for source to be able to be the one to help you navigate that, as well as following your internal compass, because you guys do have a lot of intuition, and that could be one of the gifts right there, the gift of intuition, being able to follow that more. We have two cards that came out together. We have Shimmer. It says glamour, confidence, allure, and charisma. Along with Catch Me, trust, surrender, leap of faith into the unknown. That's like the Fool vibes for those of you who watch tarot. Yeah, so like that's like Fool energy. Also, you might be seeing a lot of numbers coming out, like if you believe in like angel numbers and stuff, you might be seeing a lot of repeated numbers like 33, 44, 11, 11. Just to mention a few. You might be seeing the number 5 a lot. 13 is another one I'm picking up on. Let me know if that makes sense or if it resonates. Um, but yeah, it's like, as you take this leap of faith into the unknown, they really want you to work on having a sense of confidence as you do it. If you've been that type of person, I can raise my hand on this. If you're that type of person who, not always confident, in your abilities, or you're not that confident sometimes in yourself when it comes to, your the choices that you make and things like that. They're letting you know, like, they're guiding and pushing you. Like, they want you to be able to have that sense of confidence within yourself as you do this. On the bottom of the deck, we have the Grail Fairy, fertility, the return of life, health, and life cycles. So as you're learning, through these different cycles of life right now, you're returning to oneself and you're giving birth to a new version of self in the process. Some of you might have getting for somebody. Some of you might have had. I'm getting a couple of things. Um, Either near death experience for yourself or somebody around you is going through some health problems, and that could be one of the catalysts that have been kind of pushing you to do something differently. I picked up on something like that for someone. So I'm hoping that, if you're going through that kind of thing, that it starts to resolve and gets better. And if you lost somebody, I hope that you know you find solace in that and be able to work on that healing process and that journey. I lost somebody a couple of months ago myself. um so I know that it's hard. um but if it's something along those lines, because I'm getting health, I heard vitality and health. um Health is wealth, right? Being able to understand the importance of taking better care of oneself and getting something like that. That's not going to be for everybody. That seems very specific. So just take that message as it resonates and leave it if it doesn't. I'm going to get one more from here, and then we're going to look into into another deck that I just got. What's this? All right, came on the reverse for a reason, so let's see what Spirit has to say about that. Um, Snail's pace, slow down, grounding, listen to the heartbeat of the earth and subtle energies. So, with this coming out in the reverse, I think that Spirit wants to put some emphasis on the fact that they really want you guys to take your fucking time. Get grounded, feel a sense of security in your circumstances, as hard as it might be sometimes. Um, Being able to find that safe space and place within yourself. Um, Even when there's a lot of chaos happening around you, being able to feel that sense of security regardless of all of that. Because a lot of that stuff does kind of start within. And then, we exude a lot of that energy out. So the more secure you feel within yourself, within your circumstances, having faith, in the unknown, having faith in the Most High, whatever you believe in, so on and so forth, that allows for you to feel a greater sense of security. Therefore, you're going to be able to, you know, feel solid and, stand strong and firm in what's happening as you learn these things about yourself. Because you're definitely learning. For those of you who do resonate with this, you're learning about yourself. You're learning, a lot of things that have been, I just heard, were dormant, things that have been, maybe you've been lying dormant within yourself, whether it's spiritual gifts, and talents and things like that, um, or just a sense of feeling a little bit stuck and stagnant at this time too. I'm getting. Bottom of the deck, we have beauty's truth, beauty, physical pleasure, and sensuality. Ooh la la. Wonder what that's about. That's an interesting one. Maybe they're saying, continue to take your time when it comes to putting yourself out there sexually. That seems very specific. That's not gonna be for everybody. But for some of you, if you, let's say, if you've like been out of the dating world for a while, and you know you think about like the thing that might make you a little fearsome is maybe, being, vulnerable with somebody in that kind of way, intimate way. Take your time. There's no need for you to rush that process. If you're not ready for it, then don't push it. You know what I mean? Hope that makes sense. Story keeper, tell your story. Legacy, write your wisdom. There's a lot of stuff about wisdom, because like all the cards, I don't even think I realized this before. I think 3 of the decks that I pulled out for tonight all have wisdom on them somewhere in the title. Um, but yeah, this is your story to tell. Don't let anybody tell it for you, right? Don't let anybody tell you how you should do something. You know, do the things that you need to do for yourself. That's going to look different for every single person who ends up watching this if you resonate at all. Hey, she is. What's up, girl? And everybody else, you know, who said things that were not inappropriate, because I was not about to go through every comment and, like, you know, erase people and shit like that. I wasn't about to do all that. Ain't nobody got time. I was just ignoring people. But for those of you who have been appropriate and kind and all of that, I appreciate you guys for being here. And, you know, I hope that you're, you know, getting something out of this message so far. We're just getting started, so, you know, hopefully you're getting something out of this. The middle of the deck, we have Gossamer Princess, communication, relationship, work to be done. Now that's interesting because I just said something about, for those of you who might have been out of the loop for a while when it comes to perhaps maybe dating. Um, that could be what they're talking about. That's not going to be for everyone. That seems very specific, but there are people who will resonate with the idea that for some of you, this has to do with romantic partnerships, and you're not quite where you would like to be when it comes to putting yourself out there just yet, which is perfectly fine. Hi, Tommy. How are you? Um, which is perfectly fine. And going back to that whole idea of taking your time, you know, there's no rush, right? Don't let anybody rush you, and don't rush yourself. When the time is right to put yourself out there in that way, for those of you who are resonating with that part of the message, um, you know, you'll know when it's your time. Um, like, using myself as an example, I took a hiatus from any form of dating or intimacy for 3 years almost. I was just shy, I think, like 3 months, something like that. And now I've been in a relationship for just over a year, and, you know, it's been a really good one and healthy one. And I've been very happy. And, you know, using myself as an example, like, there's something about the idea of, you know, slow and steady wins the race here. And just being able to say, okay, well, I'm going to take my time here. I want to make sure that I'm, you know, where I want to be emotionally, so on and so forth. Um, Letting go of the memories of past, you know, mistakes and things like that, so that, you know, there's that sense of growth, right? All right, split the deck. We have inspire here in the middle of the deck. So maybe some of you are feeling inspired, you know, in different areas of your life, whether it's, you know, when it comes to romance, or just, you know, this spiritual journey that you guys are on, because there is like more than one message kind of showing up. The main thing I was picking up on is like people who went through some type of experience that was the catalyst for their spiritual growth and development. That's the main thing that I'm picking up on. So, you know, that's going to look different for each person, but there is, like, you know, this, you know, I just literally saw like a pot of gold, you know, like a rainbow with a pot of gold. You know, it's like after the rain, what happens? You see a rainbow. And what's at the end of that rainbow? A pot of gold. So it's like there's this gift, right, waiting for you. You might not really be able to see that. But yeah, so it's just a matter of, you know, practicing a sense of patience, being patient with your circumstances, being patient with yourself as you navigate this new part of yourself and this part of the journey. um because, you know, there's this leap of faith that needs to be taken in order for you to even get there, right? Some of you have already started. I'm done, or will agree. That's funny. Yeah. So, you know, everybody's got different things going on. Like, I was definitely picking up a little while on, for some of you guys, you know, I was picking up on a very strong feeling of someone going through either like a past unloved one, like relatively recent, or you're still kind of going through the motions of that, or having your own physical ailments, like near death experiences and stuff like that. So let me know if that resonates with anyone. But I was picking up on that just a moment ago. So there's going to be different things for everybody. So I will just, you know, as messages are coming through, I will, you know, deliver those messages. See, you can't make this up. Look, death. Wow. I stopped shuffling, and then what's on the bottom of the deck? I didn't see that until just now. That's crazy as fuck. Yeah. So somebody's definitely going through something when it comes to that kind of thing. So, life is precious, right? We need to make sure we take care of our physical vessels. I'm okay, I'll share a little bit of what's going on in my life right now. Um, I am basically the caregiver of my mom right now and my brother. They both have some physical stuff going on with them. My mom has like really bad arthritis, like really bad, like she could barely walk. So I have to help her a lot. And now my brother is experiencing blindness. He's only 30. How old am I about to be? I'm about to be 40. So he's 37. Yeah, he just turned 37. He's experiencing blindness, and he also has like heart problems and stuff. So it's like I'm not the healthiest either. I've had near death experiences, and I almost had a heart attack a few years ago. So like, hey Jaleesa, my girl, love you. So I'm just using that as as an example of why I'm picking up on so much of like this something surrounding like health and vitality, whether it's on your own end or somebody around you. Seems very very important to point out because I keep on picking up on that. I mean, it could just be my own energy, but I feel like it might be somebody else, who might be going through something very similar. So thank you so much for that energy. I appreciate that. And same thing to all of you guys, like sending all the healing light to y'all as well. We all have different things going on right now, and as I'm saying, I love you. Look what comes out, love. How beautiful is that, right? Um, yeah, expressing love, very important right now. I feel like being able to show those that you do love and care about, expressing that, right? Being able to put that out there and let them know, using your words and being able to show love and gratitude always, an attitude of gratitude. um I'm very big on that. So even when I'm having like hard moments, like every day, like even when every day's probably so over it, and then at the end I'm just like, you know what, God, thank you for carrying me through this day. Today was one of those. At work, oh God, work was something today. But nonetheless, yeah, I had got like a what you call it, a crack thrown at my head earlier. It was kind of funny looking back, but yeah, at the time it was not. I was so aggravated. But anywho, I'm a teacher or an assistant teacher, and yeah, they're yeah, life be life, and I'm telling you. All right, so we got a couple of cards that came out together. Ooh, I like these. All right, so we have strength here. Some of you might have Leo in your chart, and it came out along with determination. So you know, the sense of determination and strength, resilience I'm even getting, like, pushing forward, never stopping. I just heard, don't stop till you get enough. Yeah, just like keep on pushing, keep on persevering, right? And, being able to, keep on pushing forward no matter what life throws at you. Practicing patience. I said that a little while ago. Yeah, practicing patience during these times. And I'm also getting like I said it a little while ago, but I'm picking up on this real heavy right now. Patience with self. Sometimes when things are not going the way that we want them in our life, we beat ourselves up and stuff. Raise his hand. Happens to the best of us. And we're trying to again navigate these different obstacles in our lives and try to figure out what does this shit all mean. Like I don't get it. I'm confused. Like all these different emotions and feelings that come with it. And it's like I said something about slow and steady wins the race before, but yeah, I'm definitely picking up on that energy again. And it's like just being able to not beat yourself up. Some of you might have temperance in your chart, or sorry, Sagittarius in your chart. um yeah, so tempering yourself and being able to understand that things, I just heard forge, like sometimes the things that we are trying to forge takes time to build, and it doesn't just happen overnight. This overnight success idea is bullshit. You know what I mean? Everything takes time. Yeah, we have deal here. Interesting. I wonder what that's about. Maybe some of you guys have some type of deal, like a contract or something that's being signed, and it's going to take some patience. And they're saying, don't give up, keep your faith. Yeah, and that's going to allow for some type of freedom, maybe financial freedom or something like that, or just like letting go of something that's been holding you back. There's a narwhal on here. Um, Getting something along those lines. Let's get maybe 2 or 3 more from this deck. I really like this deck. There's a book, a guidebook that came with it, but I read these more so intuitively. Um, but yeah, I like these a lot. I feel very strongly connected to them. All right, what we got here? Secret. Interesting. I'm kind of getting with this one, getting a couple of things. One of the things that I'm picking up on is, all right, I'm getting more than one thing here. Move in silence is one of the things I'm picking up for somebody. So like, you don't need to go telling everybody your business and stuff like that. Your business is your business. People don't need to know shit. Okay, keep things to yourself, as you're making these moves happen, whatever these things may be for you. And then when you're ready to put that out there and be like, yeah, so I was working on this and this, and like, you don't need to tell people every step by step thing. Like, let that be your own part of your journey. And then as you're taking those steps towards whatever it is that you've been wanting, you're going to see some things start to happen. It's her create magic. Interesting. Yeah. And the other thing I'm getting is, this is a very specific message, but there could be like things that you remember that you keep a secret about, something that might have taken place. And some of you might want to use those things to inspire others. That's very interesting. That seems very specific. Well, there was something that said something about telling your own story in the other deck, so that makes a lot of sense. Let me see if it's still there. Yeah, story keeper. Tell your own story, legacy, write your wisdom. And then we have this memory and inspire thing going on with secrets. So there could be like these I'm getting like family secrets or something like that. Maybe somebody has maybe somebody wants to write something. Very, very interesting. It's gonna be different for everybody. For some of you, journaling might be what they're trying to get at here. They want you to kind of, you know, if you can't speak it, write it. And it can be just for yourself. It doesn't have to be for anybody else to see. Just for yourself to get those thoughts and feelings out, and then that could be something that can help inspire you to, move in a different direction. So let me know if any of those messages make sense or resonate. Yeah, we have collaborate, stop, collaborate, and listen. Ice is back with a brand new invention. um, let's get one more from here. I really like this deck. 1 or 2 more. Let's see. Very interesting. All right, what we got? Kindness. Yes, I preach about kindness all the time. But not only towards other people, but towards yourself, right? I was talking about being patient with oneself, speaking, light into oneself. I'm definitely picking up on that heavy. Yeah, like they really want you guys to work on, saying things that are kinder and doing kind acts too. We also have play on the bottom. So I'm getting people who might be all about work and no play. Preaching to the choir, spirit. I don't go out and do anything really anymore. But yeah, some of you might resonate with that as well. Like they want you to like do nice things for yourself, do something that's fun. I heard the word invigorate. Maybe like, a spa day or something like that. Or like for the guys, hang out with your homies, you know what I mean? Just, if you like video games or you're into sports, go to like a cool sports bar that you've been wanting to, go to or something. Something fun that will allow for you to, express like that kind of happiness and gratitude, kindness towards yourself and others, and have a good time. Create. I'm getting like create your own happiness here. Create your own happiness. Yeah, and that could be very healing for somebody. That could be very healing. One more from here. Hope you guys are resonating with this message. And if you're new to the channel and haven't done so already, please subscribe. I'm gonna take both of these. Please subscribe because I'm trying to slowly build this channel up. I'm almost at 500 subscribers. Very slow, but you know, I definitely have like my little, you know, my little unit that's coming in, and I always appreciate those who have been rocking with me for a bit. And when you guys come back around, it always makes me really happy. So when I see new faces or names, I get super happy too. So I hope I see you guys around more often. And I greatly appreciate the support. Like I said, I hope you guys are getting something out of this. All right, so we have two different cards that came out together. We have Disguise. This is Gemini energy here. Interesting. Looks like a chameleon on the card. And we also have Taurus energy here with Provide. Interesting. Let's see where they're going with that. Believe. There's a little rabbit. Joy on the top. And grow. Okay, so I'm getting, with the cards that are showing up right there, I'm kind of getting like, okay, this is what I'm picking up on. I'm getting that there are some individuals who might resonate with the idea that you do everything by yourself. Let me know if this is making sense. Follow me. Hear me out. People who do things for themselves all the time. They don't ask anybody for shit. They need help, but they don't ask for help, and they probably don't even accept it either. So it's like, I'm getting like, you know, you put on this disguise, like, oh, I could provide for myself. I could do everything. Bless you. Confirmation. Anytime I sneeze or my son sneezes when I'm doing a reading, I'm like, yep, that's confirmation. I was sneezing a little while ago after I cleansed too. Yeah, so it's like, the thing is, like, when you allow yourself to let people in, let people help you, like, and trust me, I struggle with this too. First off, that's going to allow for a great sense of growth, because now you're not doing everything by yourself. You know, teamwork makes the dream work. Being able to work with other people to, you know, and we did see something about collaborations a little while ago too, like being able to collaborate with other people and work together as a team, and understanding that, you know, all of that extra help is going to, it only can help you. Like, it's not going to harm you, right? As long as you're accepting help from, you know, the right people. That's also important. Discernment. You know, not people who are going to try to throw it in your face later. Hope you guys understand where I'm going with that. But yeah, they're like, there's joy on the other side of this. Some of you might like dragonflies and iguanas. It's also a rabbit here. Yeah, so they're like, just, you know, believe that anything is, you know, possible. Believe in those who want to help you, because, you know, the ones that really truly give a fuck, like, you're gonna know the difference. They're not gonna be, you know, the type of people who, like, you know how they are, like, and how they operate, where like they act like they want to help you and then they be doing some bullshit because they want something out of you or whatever. 33, as I said that, like, you'll kind of just know the difference. Like, yeah, I'm getting some of you guys are very, very giving. Queen of Pentacles here, very giving, and that put you in a place of lack. Five of Cups here, like emotional lack and possibly financial lack too. All right, so I'm gonna shuffle a few times, and then we're gonna do like maybe a cross of truth to see a little bit more about what you guys need to know. And then I have a couple more decks to read from after this, and that'll be it. Again, I hope that you guys have been resonating, and that you know, you're getting something out of this message and that it's helpful. I just saw the High Priestess. We were talking about intuition a little while ago. Yeah, Five of Wands. I said something earlier about the number 5. Some of you guys might be seeing 5 a lot. Like 55555, the number 5 by itself, just but a lot. We have 5 of Wands, but it's in the reverse. So that's about getting out of conflict. You're like, I am not about to sit here and be arguing with motherfuckers and shit like that. Like, you know, you're trying to get away from people and situations that cause you a sense of angst and frustrations and things like that. You know, even if the conflict is internal, right? Trying to figure out how to find a sense of inner peace. I'm getting too. All right, let's see what's going on with the collective. Let's get a few cards for a cross of truth. Overall energy for the collective. Thank you. Temperance. Didn't I say something about the temperance a little while ago? About tempering yourself. I was saying that some of you guys might have Sagittarius in your chart. We are approaching Sagittarius season. Actually, aren't we in Sagittarius season now? I think we are. We are. We're in Sagittarius season. Whoop, whoop. My birthday is in like a couple weeks. Sweet. But yeah, like 2.5 weeks, I think. But anywho, yeah, so tempering yourself and being able to practice that sense of patience, like we were talking about earlier. We have Page of Cups here on the bottom. Not sure where this is going just yet. Could be about love. The Star on the top. It's about healing and being hopeful. And the Magician. Oh, some of you guys might be manifesting love. Some of you. It's different for everybody. For others, I'm getting creative expression. Like you're trying to take a leap of faith towards something, but sometimes you get in your head. What's the challenge here for the collective? If you get in your head, sometimes that can mess you up because it's like you just feel like everything's not happening on your time. Trust me, I get it. Like, when is it gonna happen? When are things gonna get better for me? And that could get frustrating, obviously. But in due time. Don't fret, my pet. We talked about walking away earlier, didn't we? Let's see if that card is out here or if it was like in the deck. It might have been in the deck. Actually, nope. Very similar energy. So we have Eight of Cups here, which is about walking away. It's about embarking on a new journey or adventure. And we have Fairy Tales here that came out from the first deck we pulled from, which said letting go, detachment, and moving on. So there's a sense of moving on and being patient with the process of the things that come with that, because there's a lot of moving parts, right? Like there's, especially let's say if you're moving on from a relationship, like, it takes, time and dedication and effort to be able to, say, oh, I'm going to move on from this and I'm just going to take this leap of faith and go into something new. We talked about that energy earlier too. And just not knowing what to expect, what's on the other side. Your emotions might get, in the way sometimes, or overthinking as well. Yeah, for a lot of you, this is about a partnership. Two of Cups, King of Cups, and the Tower. So there, for some of you, there was an ending when it came to a romantic partnership. That's not going to be for everybody. For others, it could just be something that you're very emotionally attached to. So it could be a job. It could be something like with family, something along those lines. But something nonetheless that has always had your emotions involved, that makes it that much more difficult to walk away from. Let me know if that makes sense or resonates. Tell us more. Let's get recent past. Thank you. Yep, there goes that King of Cups again. And a siren. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear it. I think we just closed the window. Yeah. Can you guys hear the siren in the background? Might be too far. But every time I read, when I say something that's like very, very truthful, there's a siren. Every time. That or car alarms. We have Ace of Wands on the top. I mean on the bottom rather. And Ace of Swords. So there's definitely some truth here, some clarity. So maybe you saw the truth about something when it came to a situation in the recent past involving a King of Cups or a water sign. This seems very specific. That's not going to be for everybody, but for somebody, it could have been like romantic relationship, like I said before, and a third party situation could have happened and you found out about it. For others, I'm getting that it could just be a lot of that's there's some type of confirmation with that. Um, but the other thing I'm picking up on, it could also be somebody in your life who, again, there's like an emotional attachment, but there could be like an interference that has caused some issues, has caused a sense of maybe stagnancy, having a hard time moving forward. I almost want to learn more about that King of Cups. Yeah, see, look, we got Hierophant, Judgment, King of Wands. So it could have been a player for some. Tell us more about this King of Cups. Now I want to be nosy. Like I said, it's not that part. Doesn't seem like it's gonna be for everybody, but you know, not. I'm a little intrigued. I want to know more. All right, the sun and the that's like that's a juxtaposition and a half, ain't it? The sun and the moon. So there was a revelation of some sort. Those are like opposites. So there was a revelation about this King of Cups. Let me just show you guys so you don't think I'm bullshitting. Or this person in your life that you had a very strong emotional attachment or connection to, and then you had to see things for what it really was. The Judgment is here again. So, and a lot of major arcanas, mind you. So this is huge. Like this is, and then also earlier the first card that actually came out in the spread was Dark Moon. So, just saying. So there must have been some type of revelation, and I just heard can't be a dead horse. Like it got to a point where like all the signs were there and you might have been ignoring them. And that would explain also why like the left side of my nose keeps itching, because it's like this is like definitely past energy, and it's like you had to see things for what it was, and it might have taken a while for you guys to really come. Yeah, Three of Pentacles. Like you had to really start seeing things for what it was. There's a lot of hidden shit going on with this person, and you know it got to the point where you had to see things for what it was. You had to call a spade a fucking spade and take a leap of faith into the unknown, the Fool. I knew that part was going to show up because it showed up already in a different deck. But tell us more. It's like the incoming energy for the collective. There are some most accurate messages. There's a lot of shit happening in this reading. A lot of stuff. All right, Three of Cups and Two of Pentacles. Yeah, there's just like, I just heard drop it like a bad habit. Okay, so the Three of Cups is here, along with the Two of Pentacles. So that's like, going, hey, blessings, how are you? Yeah, it's just like this energy of like going back and forth about something. For some of you, this is a little more specific as well. It could be even like a friend or someone like in your social circle who you really care about a lot, who you've had to distance yourself from. Let me know if that resonates. Found out something, like maybe they were doing something real shisty and you're just like, or they move funny and you're like, nah, homie. Especially like when you have all these blessings coming in. Ace of Pentacles is giving me like this energy here, the gift. Like, there are all these blessings about to unfold in your life. It's like, why allow, for people to hold you back? The Knight of Swords, like you're trying to seize new opportunities, right? Moving on swiftly. And it's like, there are people who are still going to try to kind of keep you feeling like you're teeter-tottering. And you're going to have to drop them like a bad habit, Spirit said. And you'll know if this is your reading. You'll know, or at least that part of the message. Like you'll feel it. You'll be like, oh yeah, I've been paying attention. Page of Swords. I've been paying attention to that energy, and I know exactly who this person is. Like, a lot of us, we have people in our lives, whether it's romantically, whatever the case may be, friends, family, so on and so forth, co-workers, where, we be watching them with a side eye constantly, trying to figure out what their next move is. Like, what the fuck are they up to? And I feel like, as you're, growing and you're working on yourself, and that intuition is on point, because we saw a lot of stuff about like spiritual gifts and stuff throughout this reading. Like, you're gonna see things for what it really is. And people aren't going to be able to pull the wool over your eyes anymore. So if there are people who are trying to kind of milk you for your energy, for instance, like trying to constantly take, like, you're going to know who those people are, and you're going to know the people who are going to make you feel out of balance too. You gotta do what you gotta do. Drop them like a bad habit. Tell us more. Very interesting. Two of Cups. So yeah, the basis of all of this, the foundation, is definitely something about partnerships. Two of Cups here. So whether it's romantic or whatever, usually the Two of Cups is romance, but it could be other things. It could be business partnerships. It could be so many things. Um, yeah, fuck that shit. No, thank you. And yes, Tommy, definitely protect your energy. Absolutely, yeah. And remember, we talked about slow and steady wins the race. Yeah, there's no need to like rush partnerships. Let people prove to you that they're worthy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying have people, pay for the mistakes of others, but I am saying use your discernment and be able to feel people out and be like, okay, there are people who, have my best interest at heart, and there are people who don't. And being able to use your discernment to know what the difference is. 46, 46, that adds up to 10. Well, 10, 10, right? So it's like that's about endings, right? You're severing ties where need be. And that's okay. And it might have taken you a while to do that. We got the King of Pentacles. Some people might really like try to use you a lot. Maybe for money, or a sense of security. Um, and then they keep you in your head. I was talking about that earlier. Eight of Swords. I mentioned something about that before. Like, I picked up on that energy, even though it didn't show up in the reading yet. But I felt it. And yeah, like there's just this energy of people trying to, like, again, pull the wool over your eyes and try to, make you not see things for what it is. And you guys have a lot more discernment than that, and thank the good Lord you do. And you see things for, or at least you're starting to. And this might have taken some time. This might not have happened overnight, right? And we talked about that sense of patience, right? And that's why I think Spirit was saying, practice a sense of patience with yourself, and that sense of temperance, because at the end of the day, sometimes it takes us time to really see things for what it is, especially when we have a kind heart. Being able to know and discern those that have our best interest and those that don't is so hard, because you don't want to, yeah, exactly, crap in a bucket type shit. Exactly. Exactly. And that's the hard part, because like when you have, like I said, when you have a good heart, you might be the type of person who, you know, is constantly over giving. I was picking up on over givers a little while ago too. Constantly, being there for everybody else and all of that, loving up on everybody else, and sometimes forgetting to love up on yourself. And here you are constantly get outpouring, and then you are left with like feeling depleted, feeling like you have nothing. And that's fucked up. You need somebody who pours into you just as much as you pour into them. All of our relationships in our life should be reciprocal. Not necessarily transactional, but reciprocal. That's just, how I look at it. And, because I do feel like there's a little bit of a difference between, there's like, a fine line, but I do think there's a difference between transactional, because that transactional to me means like everything has to, like, if somebody does this for you, then they have to do exactly the same, like, thing back and forth. Like, that's not realistic. It's more about, you know, reciprocal means like one hand scratches the other. And it's like, when you see somebody who you really love and care about, who's down and out, and they're going through something and you can give, you figure out a way to give, right? Versus, you know oh, I gave that person $1,000, and now I'm going through a hard time. I want exactly $1,000 too. Like that's not always realistic. They might not be able to actually provide that, but they might be able to provide a different sense of help in a different type of way. Um, so on and so forth. That's reciprocity, in my opinion, versus transactional relationships. But anyway, that's the end of my TED talk. Let me know how you guys feel about how I worded that. Does that make sense? um, but yeah. All right. So let's see. Let's get maybe either advice or like an outcome for the collective. High Priestess, there you go, baby. They're like, there's this inner knowing, and we talked about that earlier. When we saw, we were talking about intuition. I was like, that's like High Priestess energy, and the High Priestess is very, very intuitive, and she has a great inner knowing. She's very, very spiritually gifted and inclined, and I feel like this is a time for you guys to also step into your sense of, inner knowing. A lot of times, we know stuff more than we like to, give ourselves credit for, and we brush it off like, oh yeah, no, I'm bugging. You know what I mean? Like, no. 9 times out of 10, you probably are right about what it is that you're feeling. Own that shit. Follow your intuition. Easier said than done, I know. Trust me, I get it. But this is what Spirit is letting you guys know, including myself. Like, when something feels off about somebody, pay attention and don't make excuses, because then you're going to stay in situations way longer than you need to. And then when everything hits the fan, you're going to be like, fuck. I knew something was off about that situation or that person or whatever. Listen to your intuition. You know? What did Blessing say? Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Again, one hand washes the other, right? It's like, I said scratches before some reason before. I don't know why I said that. It's one hand washes the other. But yeah, it's about that equal give and take. You work, you try your hardest. Like, if you see somebody who you care about going through something, you try to figure out a way to be there for them, especially if they've also been there for you. And that is what a true reciprocal relationship looks like. Um, and like I said, it won't always look the same on each side all the time. I don't think that's fair. Like, if someone's a millionaire and you're just, a thousandaire. That's even a thing. Like, come on. Like, but if you're still showing up for that person when they need you, it just might be in a different way. See? Look, the magician here, manifesting. Um, yeah. Working hard on, finding that sense of willpower. And that's a part of I was hearing it earlier and now I'm hearing it again. I think what they're trying to tell me is forged in the fire. I think is what they're trying to say. And we have this Three of Swords here. So I'm kind of getting like it took, a lot of heartbreak and pain and losses and stuff like that to get to this point of, discernment and inner strength, um, knowledge, so on and so forth, for you to get to this point. Yeah, stand on that. Yeah, and they're like, there's something coming through. That gift that we were talking about earlier, Page of Pentacles. And that's going to look different for everybody. I think it's just an overall general sense of well-being and happiness for a lot of us. For some of you, it could be monetary. For others, it's just, a greater sense of purpose. I just heard that. A greater sense of purpose. I heard that very strong. So, like I said, it looks different for everybody, but, you know, you'll know it when you see it and when you feel it. So the next deck I'm going to read from is the Wisdom of the House of Night. I really like this deck. I've been using these quite a bit on my readings lately. So I feel like they go with everything. But I do want you guys to see something really quickly. Let me see. So we have Wild Mystic on this one, but I think it says something about wisdom somewhere on the deck. Yeah, At least I thought it did. Maybe I was playing. Um, but yeah, I think I picked up like at least two decks. I thought it was three, but maybe it was just two decks that talked about wisdom on them, and this is one of them. So, nonetheless, I was picking up even earlier in the reading. I was like, this is definitely more of a reading about like inner guidance and wisdom as opposed to anything else, and just figuring out what that looks like for you guys at this time, because it's, I'm getting like dark night of the soul. Like everybody's got different things going on, different stories to be told here, and the one thing that we all kind of probably can have the similar consensus on is the fact that we have been, I'm gonna say we because I feel like life has been life, and I think a lot of us can agree that do resonate with this reading, that we have been working on becoming a stronger version of ourselves through the trials and tribulations, and using the information that we've gained as a way to, help better prepare us for the things to come. And, it's been a time coming, right? We have beauty. Yeah, seeing the beauty in our circumstances, right? 5555. Remember, I said earlier, some of you guys might be seeing the number five a lot. This is representing change. And it's like they're trying to, let us know. I'm gonna say us, let us know, like, see the beauty in all of these, these changes that are happening, that are, I keep hearing forged in the fire. I keep hearing that. It's like the third or fourth time now they're in this reading that I've heard it. It's like in a loop almost now. Like I just keep hearing. At first it was like faint, so I couldn't make it out, and now I'm like, okay, Spirit is like they really want me to get that out there. Forged in the fire. So definitely getting this energy of, it took all the shit to build you guys up into the stronger version of self. Wow. I love that. It's definitely not all in vain. I gotta give that as a reminder to myself, because like I said, life has been crazy lately for me, as I'm sure it is for a lot of you guys too. That's why I haven't been on here for like almost 2 weeks. Wishing, yeah, wishing, hoping, waiting for things to happen differently. Excuse me. We have honesty on the bottom. Be honest about what it is that you want. High High Priestess of Air. Interesting. Yeah, understanding that inner knowing, right? And being honest with yourself about what it is that you're feeling. Fulfillment in the middle of the deck. Yeah, that's what it is. Like they really want you guys to, hone in and focus on what it is that you truly want in your life right now, and own that. Be very concrete about what it is that you want, and also practice your sense of discernment in the process. It's easy to say that, oh, I want X, Y, and Z, but be honest with yourself. Is that really what you want? Or is it because, like, like, if I were to say, oh, I can't wait to get the fuck out this fucking job, but I just had one bad day at work. Like, do I really mean that? Or am I just having a moment? I had a moment like that today. And then when the day was over, I was like, no, I still love my job. It was a rough day. Like I said, I got hit in the head with a fucking crock. I didn't tell my son about that funny ass story yet. I'm sure he'll be cracking up when I tell him about it, though. And be like, it wasn't funny at the time. The shit kind of hurt. Like right here. Like him and them damn Crocs, always throwing them. And then I had to take his headphones because I'm like, he ain't about to chuck those at my face. He did that to my other coworker once. She right in her nose. I was like, oh my God, I hope he didn't break her nose. She was fine, but yeah, no, thank you. We have two cards that came out together: Rigid and Vision. Interesting. I'm getting with these two here, I'm getting like hold the vision. The things that you really are trying to manifest, the things that you want, as long as they are serving your highest good, always stand on that. Stand on business when it comes to what it is that you truly want. But again, practicing that sense of discernment is still important, you know. Ooh, lust. Now this is a little more specific, but for those of you, if you Spirit wants me to say it, so I'm going to say it. For those of you who've ever struggled with like hypersexuality and stuff like that, they want you guys to maybe, you know, work on that a little bit, do a little bit of inner work. That seems very specific, but be careful of having relationships that are based on that. Maybe that's why they said slow the fuck down, because this card technically came out in the reverse, and then the other card that was accompanying it was about sensuality. Um, it's in the deck, but like actually it might be on the top. Um, it's on the bottom, but yeah, they were talking about sensuality. And one of the messages I was getting, like, take your time when it comes to intimacy and stuff like that. There's no rush. Like, don't let anybody push you, to do something you don't want to do and things like that. But I am also getting, just make sure, okay, a couple of things. Again, stand firm in that, what I just said. That's one thing. That's one part. And then the other part is practicing that discernment when it comes to things surrounding your intimacy and all of that in relationships. Making sure that you're not succumbing to just, succumbing to just lustful connections. I'm getting, yeah, and we have High Priestess of Air here again. So, just saying. Let's get one more from here, and then I have one more deck I'm gonna read from, and that'll be the end of the reading. And yes, Tommy, exactly. Always stay true to self. Always. See? Always stay true to self. Honesty here again. Officially on the spread now. Yeah, forbidden on the bottom. Interesting. I just heard forbidden fruit. Um, Belonging. So a sense of belonging, right? There's certain things that, you feel like feel a strong sense of comfort with, and sense of, well-being and belonging when it comes to some things, and some things they're like absolutely not. So you have to be honest with yourself, because there's like a juxtaposition here. We got one of those on the top, one of those on the bottom. So it's like, it's kind of giving me, and they're both accompanying the honesty card, like being real with yourself about the things that you should start to like kind of step away from, versus the things that, you know it's okay to, allow yourself to kind of let go a little bit. It's gonna look different for everybody, so take the messages as they resonate, because it's gonna be different for everyone. But yeah, listen to that inner voice, that's guiding you and telling you what to do. You'll know. You will know. All right, so the last deck I'm gonna read from is Repair, Evolution, Growth. So I like this deck because this is like all about, um, as it says, evolution, right? Growing, expanding in our lives. So I'm gonna get, like, we do have new beginnings here on the bottom. So let's get maybe 3 cards from here, and that'll be the end. Again, if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button and subscribe. Would greatly appreciate that. Thank you, blessings, for being a moderator tonight. And thank you for everybody who's been here watching. Even if you just tapped in for a brief moment, or you came in a little bit late, I greatly appreciate every single one of you. We have denial here on the bottom of the deck. It says deception. There is a situation that you are refusing to see clearly. Remember, we talked about that, because we did see that that Ace of Swords. There's a sense of clarity. You got to pay attention to that inner voice. Living in denial can create false scenarios to seek things that are not accurate. Have the courage and discernment to dig deep into the truth of the situation. That's here on the bottom. So you gotta, see things for what they really are. Call a spade a fucking spade. Even when it's, a truth that you don't really want to see. Tell us more. Thanks, guys. Thank you. All right. Stuck energy, alignment. You have stuck energy that can be caused by holding on to pain or having resistance to let new energy flow. And exactly, that is the whole purpose of this reading. Get grounded. Where is that card? Is it still here? Yep. Remember, that card was in the reverse earlier, meaning that there's emphasis on that card. Not the opposite of what the card says, but in this case, that the way that deck reads is usually emphasis on that. They want you to get grounded. Sorry. Get grounded and reconnected to your body once again. And I did mention something about working on finding that sense of like security and, you know, feeling a sense of groundedness when it comes to the energy that you're in. Because not being in that energy can make you feel stuck or stagnant. That was the word I used. Let's get two more. Thank you. All right, false narrative, discernment. Be mindful of the story you're telling yourself. Having a negative narrative is destructive and simply not true. Stop listening to your ego based story that is laced with falsehoods and old conditioning. For every negative thing you say, counteract that by saying three positive words. See the truth of who you are, which is wise, magnificent, and radiant. I love that. Love that, love that, love that. So remember I was talking about earlier speaking life into yourself, right? Those of you who might beat yourself up sometimes, this is a time to not do that. Spirit is kind of calling you out on that and saying, don't do that. Speak life into yourself. I love that because I definitely could resonate with that myself. Let's get one more. Spirit said, we're going to give you two. All right. I will take them. All right. So one of the cards is better boundaries, communication. Creating boundaries requires self-love and discipline. It's not about you shutting people out or being unkind. Remember, we were talking about that earlier. It is about telling them you care enough about yourself to create boundaries that are for your highest good. Clear communication is needed to keep your boundaries intact. Absolutely. Absolutely. Along with fun and adventure. We just talked about that a little while ago too. It's time to play and get reacquainted with your childlike self. Open up to your sense of adventure and fantasy. You've been way too serious and moving through the motions. Snap out of it and have some fun. So they really want you guys to also have a good time. You know, don't close yourself off to that. Definitely could, put boundaries up when it comes to, fuck energy, but when it comes to making sure you have fun and do nice things for yourself and things like that, definitely important at this time. Bottom of the deck we have patience. Talked about that more than once now. Patience is needed. Timing. Be mindful not to rush or push your agenda at this time. Trust in divine timing and less in instant gratification. Having patience allows everything to unfold as it should. The seeds you have planted, now let them grow. Love that. Absolutely. I really hope you guys got something out of this reading. I really do, because I definitely have been enjoying giving this reading to you guys. This was actually on the bottom of the deck originally. So let's read it. New beginnings, intention. New doors are opening and new opportunities are here. You are shifting into a higher frequency by honoring yourself and your accomplishments. It's time for a fresh start and a clean slate. You are being asked to only bring your new self into this next chapter. I love this. This is awesome. Wow. Middle of the deck we have for the last card. Full circle completion. Oh my goodness. And then blessings, you're saying 5 years of a storm. And the fact that, wow, that's deep. I just got goosebumps. The fact that I've mentioned numerous times during this reading, I keep connecting with the number 5 throughout this reading. Girl. And, 5 plus 5 adds up to 10, which is representative of completion. So I've been seeing and feeling the number 5 like this whole time. And it makes a lot of sense that this is the last card that we're going to read from. You have chosen to learn from your mistakes and move forward, closing out the cycle. Every layer of yourself you acknowledge is a layer that served its purpose. You are now, and I said something about that earlier too, you are now feeling your power by seeing your inner strength and determination, we talked about that earlier, pay off. Be proud of this moment and let it carry you forward. Yeah, we talked about determination, strength. I think those 2 cards actually came out together in the other deck. Yep. Strength and determination. Those came out together earlier. This was a nice reading. I'm happy I went on. Um, yeah, I felt really connected tonight when it came to saying, okay, you're going to read tonight. Because I wanted to read a few times and I just didn't have it in me. I wanted to make sure I was like of sound mind when I got on here, because that's one thing I don't ever want to do is like, bleed onto you guys when I got shit going on. So I always make sure that, I'm in the best, mental spaces the best mental space that I can be in, and emotional and all of that. So, um, yes, yes, you're absolutely right. We're all connected, and I love that. I love that. So I really appreciate all of you guys for being here. You guys are amazing. And yeah, so today's only Monday, right? So I'll probably be back again. You never know. Maybe like on Thanksgiving Day, like later in the evening after everybody done ate their, their turkey and stuff. If you guys celebrate, if you don't, completely understandable. Um, but yeah, so you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will definitely be checking in at some point again this week. If I can try even sooner than Wednesday or Thursday, that would be great. But I cannot make any promises. I explained earlier that I got a lot going on, but yeah. All right, you jive turkeys, I love y'all. So you guys have a great rest of your evening. All right. And I will check in with you guys again soon. So until next time, bye.